everybody. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening in our world right now. And there's a lot of people posting a lot of things. There's lots of opinions going on. There's lots of noise. And here I am making a video. But my intention is not to add to the noise. I am frequently saying that if you've ever been through a trial, that you should share so that other people can learn, or that they can feel like they're not so alone. That is my intention with this. I obviously have a lot of experience in this subject, at least to my own degree, and I have my own story, and I feel like the more that people are sharing, the more education and awareness can be happening, and the more that I can do my job to help others. So that is my intention with this. I'm Black and I'm white. I have dealt with being too dark from a white perspective, and I've dealt with being too light from a Black perspective. I've dealt with racism on both sides. Also, both of my parents were cops. Both of my parents were criminals, which means at one point both of them were bad cops too. So I feel like I have a lot of pieces in this fight right now. I have a lot of perspective from a lot of different positions. So my intention is not to add to the noise, but to inspire and to educate just from my own perspective and my own story. I frequently hear people shocked that I've dealt with racism because of where I live. I've, mostly been in Utah and Idaho my whole life. And there's been a lot of shock that there was racism here. But I've dealt with racism since I've been Black, which I hope you can guess has been my whole life. Okay, so from a very early age, I knew there was a family down the street that I couldn't play with because I was Black. Do you know how hard that is for a young child to understand? Or how hard it is for a parent to try and explain to their child? I knew from a very young age that there were elderly people that would say or do things that was racist, and that was just the time period that they were raised in. And so I guess I had to just deal with it as if it was okay. Have you ever been afraid to go into a retirement home or be introduced to somebody over the age of 70? That's a fear that I've dealt with my whole life because they were raised in a different time. And that means I have to check myself whenever I'm around them. I remember being followed at a store, or I guess that started in my life from as early as I can remember, or at least as early as I could wander away from my mom. Do you have any idea what that does to a child to understand at such an early age that people automatically see you as a criminal just because of the color of your skin? I remember the first time that I was called the N-word, and the second time, and the 12th time. I have been spit on, I've been teased, I have been left out and ignored, all because of the color of my skin. And that has happened in Idaho and in Utah. So, as I mentioned, I want to educate, I want people to understand that this is happening everywhere. This is happening in your very own communities, your very own backyard. I don't want to cause offense. I don't want you to be on the defensive, because as soon as you're on the defense, then that shuts the doors for you to open your heart to education and awareness. I had an experience just this week with education changing my perspective. Up until this week, I was against Black Lives Matter. And I'm Black. But I felt like every time you're saying Black Lives Matter, that means that you're saying somebody else's life doesn't matter. The post that I enjoyed the most that changed my opinion of this was the one that said, just, you know, when we are promoting breast cancer awareness, that doesn't mean that none of the other cancers matter. This is just the one that we're focusing on right now. I thought that was so powerful, and it changed my perspective in a non-hateful, non-hurtful way that really brought somebody else's point across. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I have some advice, and you can take it or you can leave it. But here's some advice from a half black, half white daughter of an ex-cop. To everybody, stop stereotyping the police. They took an oath to protect and to serve, and that means you. Now, also, stop lying to yourself. There are bad cops out there. I have thankfully not dealt with many, but I know that they're here in Idaho and in Utah. But please treat all cops like you treat a new person meeting for the first time. Good until proven bad. Stereotyping them and saying that all cops are bad is the same as saying that all blacks are thugs, and it's wrong. To my white friends, please don't be afraid to ask black people about being black. Like, we want to talk to you about it. And the more that you understand, the more that you can help. The more that you see, the more that you can stop, okay? Start teaching your children now what's okay and what's not okay. Chances are they've probably already heard the N-word. You need to teach them how bad it is, because it's a really big deal. Do let your children befriend and even date people of color. If you're not racist, why would you have a problem with it? I'm in an interracial marriage, and I hope that you don't have a problem with it. Don't let other people talk disrespectfully about people of color. Just make it be a point that others know that they can't talk like that around you. Understand that black people have different styles. Okay, they dance differently, they dress differently, they talk differently, they have a different culture. But for you to say that they're thugs or that they're illiterate or treat them like they're beneath you because they wear their pants below their, lower, below their, they wear their pants lower or they talk differently, that's hateful and it's hurtful. They're just different. And honestly, to you, you probably look a little weird to them as well. So, heads up. Vote with all ethnicities in mind. If you're black, to my black friends, stop breaking the law. It's that simple. Stop breaking the law. Now, if you are being pulled over or arrested and you have done nothing wrong, like, get pissed off. That's not okay. If you did break the law and you are being treated unfairly, if you have unnecessary force, get pissed off. It's okay to be angry about those things. In fact, you should be, because that's going to stop it from happening again. However, if you break the law and you get treated like every other criminal with the appropriate amount of force, then shut up, because you broke the law. Okay? Realize that white people are just like black people, except they don't have as much rhythm. Okay? Like, they want what's best for their families. They want to be good friends and good neighbors and good citizens. There's good white people and good black people on both sides, okay? There's good white people and there's bad white people. Let's not be stereotyping them either. Educate your white friends. Like, chances are, if they've offended you, they don't even know that they did. So take the time to educate them. If at that point they are still offensive, that's when you start snipping them out to life, okay? But it's our job to educate other people how to treat us. And that that's across the board, not just with color. So take an opportunity to educate them. Let them know how you want to be treated, what's acceptable and what's not. Draw their attention so that they can join you on this movement to make real change. Most importantly, humble yourselves, everybody, right? Everybody has room to be a little more humble. No one is perfect, okay? And we don't have to be right all the time. What we have to be is trying all the time. And if you're right, that doesn't mean that somebody else is wrong. They could be right too. Everybody has their own perspective on life. And the more that we try and work together, the more we can see eye to eye and we can actually make change. So please spread the love. Stop spreading the hate. Educate.